Hello and welcome to the Wireless LAN News Desk on July 13, 2018. My name is Tom Carpenter and I'm the CTO at CWNP. This week in the news, just a couple of things. First of all, there was an article written by Craig Mathias titled Multi-User MIMO Technology Boosts System Capacity for Wireless LANs. It suggests the technology might not be magic, but it upgrades wireless LAN performance and system capacity so well that some network engineers might call it magical. That opening statement seems like a really good statement if I'm a salesperson trying to sell multi-user MIMO as a beneficial technology. But I want to talk about that phrase. It upgrades wireless LAN performance and system capacity so well that some network engineers might call it magical. However, I would suggest that many wireless LAN engineers who have seen multi-user MIMO and the reality of it and how little impact it has would say it's magical that vendors continue to promote it as a reason to go to 802.11ac or even 802.11ax in the future. Now, 802.11ax does introduce uplink multi-user MIMO, and time will tell what kind of benefits that brings. But due to the many constraints on actually getting multi-user MIMO to work in the downlink model we have in 802.11ac today, it doesn't provide that enhancement to wireless LAN performance and system capacity that we could really use that phrase so well. So the reality is that multi-user MIMO has many demands. First of all, the stations have to be positioned well so that they can be placed in a multi-user group. Then, while they're in that multi-user group, there has to be data destined to both of those stations from the AP, so that the AP can send to both of them at the same time. Now, in a heavy multicasting kind of environment or something like that, you might see some significant gains from multi-user MIMO. But the reality is that in most implementations, you will only see insignificant gains from it. Hey, at least in this article, Craig did the right thing. And he said that when you're upgrading, you should get gear with multi-user MIMO support. So, in other words, he said, when you're acquiring gear today, why not go ahead and get gear that supports multi-user MIMO so you can use it if it's a benefit in your environment? I can agree with that. The opening statement, I disagree with. The closing statement, I think, is actually a good statement. Why not get the capability if you can? Now, the second thing in the news, there is new research that shows that 802.11ax, and I don't like the fact that AX is in capital letters, even though it's a title. But anyway, AX and IoT are going to boost Wi-Fi growth towards 2022. So this is by the 650 group. And they suggest that because of IoT and because of 802.11ax, we're going to see growth in Wi-Fi. Additionally, they say that they expect 802.11ax to be adopted very quickly. We'll see if that actually happens. But they do cite some things like IoT devices such as video surveillance systems. They are expecting a 35% increase in the market by 2022 over what it was in 2017. So that's a significant increase in a 5-year window. And again, being driven by 802.11ax and IoT. So while IoT itself has kind of become a buzz phrase and everything seems to fit into Internet of Things, the reality is that the devices that we put in that IoT category are driving a lot of the need for Wi-Fi. In another article this past week that I don't have pictured here, we actually saw that another driver to keep Wi-Fi going is the fact that all of these IoT devices will be in the home. And so from a consumer perspective, the expectation is that Wi-Fi will continue to be in demand even with 5G, just because people have everything from door locks to garage door openers to grills and everything else that requires 802.11 in the home. So they have to have something to connect to, and people aren't going to go out and change their Wi-Fi door lock they just got a couple of months or a year ago. They're not going to change their garage door opener that works on, sadly, usually 2.4 gigahertz only. And they're not going to replace that grill we talked about earlier in the year that cost them $1,600. So the reality is that we'll continue to see these devices that demand Wi-Fi in the home. Now, since you have to have Wi-Fi for the devices, the question is, why not use Wi-Fi for other things as well where it makes sense? So we'll continue to see it used in the home. And for the very same reasons we'll continue to see it used in the enterprise space. See, it's the thing about already being there. It's already there. You've got tons of devices that use it. You don't want to replace those devices with 5G devices. Think about the organizations that don't want to replace barcode scanners that are still 11G. They don't want to upgrade them to even 11N or 11AC or other devices like that. So do we really think they're going to run out and immediately replace everything with 5G? Certainly not. 802.11 is here to stay for a long time to come. And this is just another research article showing that reality. All right, now, as we go toward the close today, I just want to remind you to go to conferences.cwnp.com in order to sign up for Wi-Fi Trek in San Diego this year if you haven't done so already. A lot of great speakers going to be there. Excellent pre-conference training with some of the best trainers in the world, so you don't want to miss this event in October. Conferences.cwnp.com. Now, for the final piece in the news, the Omaha World Herald had an interesting article that really got my attention and made me smile. It said, Wi-Fi and K-cups in the forest. Glamping is now a thing at Platte River State Park. Okay, so I've always been the type that if I was going to go camping, I wasn't really going to go camping. I didn't want a camper. I didn't want a tent. I wanted a cabin. And the first time I went as an adult, I had a cabin that had a restroom in it, but no shower. And I said, okay, this isn't good enough. We need to upgrade to the one with the shower. And then the next time it was, let's upgrade to the one that has satellite TV. And then eventually it was, you know what? We don't have Wi-Fi. That might not be a good thing. And I would drive down the road to a nearby public school that thankfully at that time had open hotspots and I could connect to Wi-Fi. Well, here's the thing. Apparently, glamping is the big thing. We want to be in the middle of the woods, but doggone it, we want our Wi-Fi, we want our coffee, we want our TV, we want everything we're used to having. I'm going to take my gaming laptop out to the woods and play Fortnite. I'll really feel like I'm in the game. So the point is that Wi-Fi is making its roads into everywhere. And we're even seeing it at many of these campsites that used to be those getaways. Here's my suggestion, and I've learned this well. Go ahead and detach. Even if there's Wi-Fi there, turn the Wi-Fi off on your phone. In fact, just turn your phone off. Enjoy a time away, disconnected, detached. Think about what you see in these rural areas, in these forest areas, because the reality is, like Leonardo da Vinci, by observing things other than that which we do every day, we can actually improve how we do that which we do every day. That's not a quote from Leonardo da Vinci. It's a description of his life. And it's, well, a quote from me. So get out, observe the world around you, and have a wonderful weekend. Well, thank you for joining me this week, and I hope to see you again next week. If you haven't already, click subscribe below to subscribe, and I'll see you next week with the Wireless LAN News Desk.